What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Fire Up Forge. Now, a lot of you may know me as Gaming Reaper over on the YouTube channel or on Twitch, but the rest of the time I'm just Dylan and I make stuff. This is Fire Up Forge and Fabrication. Obviously, you can see over in the corner that there is a fire going on and the blower's not on. I'm trying to get the fire to spread through the coals a little bit before we get started. And I just wanted to kind of do this series to pivot into a new direction with the channel, possibly change the name a little bit later, and also as a way to help other people learn the craft as well as a visual catalog for my own growth. Today you can't even see that it's so small. Anyway, this is a piece of 1/4 square key stock. And we are going to turn it into one of my favorite things to make, a drive-in post hook. Now, this metal is cold. I should have put it in the forge for a few seconds just so I could hold it. A drive-in post hook is pretty useful. You don't need any fasteners for it. All it is a curved hook with a attached nail. Drive it into a wooden post. I don't recommend putting them inside. And you're good to go. They stay in pretty good. We're going to see if we can make this one look a little bit better than what I normally do. I normally make them kind of plain. That way they don't stand out. But we're going to try to get fancy with this one. So we're going to fire at the forge and let the noise suppression kick on. And we're going to let this thing get heating. You guys can't even hear the fan, and I'm raising my voice. So we're going to grab a tong. These are just Amazon wolf jaw tongs. I like them for 1/4 inch because I can really wrench down. And since it is so cold, that's going to take a little bit to actually heat up. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording and we'll cut to when it's finished heating. All right, we're pretty much done heating the end for the nail. So I'm going to get this positioned in my tong so I can taper it, if it will cooperate. Don't currently have V-bit tongs that can hold 1/4 inch stock. I don't normally even let go of square stock. But we're going to get started tapering this thing. And I've wasted my heat. That's a fun thing, wasting your heat. But I could not get the tongs to sit. So we're going to let that heat back up. And I'm going to pop some chunks. Because this is a JBOD forge. And I've just had to repack it. So I had to take all the coke out and redo everything for the forge. All right, we've got another cherry heat. So we're going to go ahead and not move as quick as we can because we actually want this to look nice. Oh, I shouldn't have let go. We're going to turn the air back on because this is coal and not charcoal. Why are you loose? And hopefully this last heat, since I haven't been doing this for very long, I'll be able to get the taper finished and centered. I got a little distracted talking and kind of burned it a little bit, but that's okay. We're going to work through as it cools down and try to get that bit straightened up. Because once I do the bend, it is not going to be fun to try and straighten this thing. It looks about good. So what I like to do is not what everyone likes to do. I will about halfway cool it. Or this one I'm actually going to fully cool. And we're going to wipe it off a little bit. And I'm going to flip it around and realize I forgot to de-oil this one. So I'm glad it's not on fire. Back in the forge it goes. Rake, rake, rake. And we're not going to introduce any air for this one. We're just going to let it sit. And normally I would do these in the propane forge that you can't even see. Propane forge right there. Get the whole thing screaming as hot as that furnace goes, because that's not actually a forge. I don't have a propane forge yet, and I don't feel like making one. So I'll do that. Maybe takes me 4 minutes to actually do it, because I can leave that one running full tilt and not worry about any kind of runaway. This one I do have to worry about. I have had it explode a couple times, but on this end we are just going to do a flat taper and a simple scroll. I want to. This is why. This is one of the issues with working with small stock. Is it does not hold any heat. I have a piece of 3/4 square stock floating around here somewhere. It's over there that I'm working on upsetting to make a hardy flatter. And I forgot to cool it when I was done for the day working on it, because it's going to take quite a while to actually get that one flat because it's such a lot of metal to move. And as you can see, I have a very small anvil stand. So I left it. I thought it would cool down in like 5 minutes. And I came outside like half an hour later. It wasn't glowing anymore. but it was still black heat, and you could feel it as you approached it. So, if you want to get into smithing, rule number one is everything's always really hot. Don't touch anything unless you're absolutely sure that it's cold, i.e., after you quench it in your water barrel or oil barrel if you have what I don't currently have a water barrel. Boy, these are always my worst tapers. It's flat tapers. I reckon maybe I'll practice them on a live stream. That sounds like a good idea. Perhaps sometime in the future we'll go over how I did my forge. As you can see, it is a pile of crap, but it does work pretty well. Unfortunately, we are under a carport, so I can't run it for too long because everything will start warping. Ah, I burnt my taper off. Around my mouth. I'm actually going to straighten that out a little bit more. Uh, I will correct that in just a second, but I'm going to turn this off because I got it too hot. And one good thing about being between heats on a coal forge is you can take a second to kind of stretch your fingers. This is pretty much just what I do, is flick them around. Seems to help me. All right, let's finish this scroll. Hopefully in this heat. By no means am I professional. I am absolutely a hobbyist. And if you want to learn properly, you would be better off learning from one of the numerous pros that are on YouTube. Because I am not one of them. I've only been doing this for about 8 months, 9 months maybe. I've made some decent looking stuff here. Like two of the ones I've made recently are these two S hooks. One of which is literally just an S. It's backwards. It's just an S. I don't think you can get much more S hook than that. But I dropped the other one. They're not ready to be sold yet, so I've still got to polish them. We should be pretty well heated without too much trouble. Of course. Now, I don't want this to be a loose scroll. I do want it to be nice and tight. I'm going to roll it up probably an eighth of an inch just once I get it tight. And after that, we'll be able to sit it on the coals, let the whole thing get hot, quench the nail, do the bend for the actual hook, and then we can fold the nail over in the right direction. Now, once we start heating the whole thing up, I am going to turn the air back on. That way I can have a nice hot bed. Normally, this part is where I would actually start using the propane forge, but obviously it's very far away even with the FOV on this camera. And I'm going to go ahead and shut that off because I don't want to burn this scroll. Like I just about did. Where is my wire brush? Now it is pretty convenient to have a wooden block. I've got one right off camera for flattening and straightening, especially when you're working with delicate scrolls. That's just how I've always seen it. For this heat, we're just going to lay that on top, give it a little bit of air to get it back up to heat. And after that, we're just going to let it sit. And I'm going to cut until it's actually heated. Because I need the whole thing to heat. So I'm going to cut real quick and we will be back. All right, we are pretty much at the temp that I want. So I'm going to get this over here so I can reposition it how I need it. We're going to cool the scroll and we're going to bend away from it. All right, we've got the bend started, but we still need to clean it. So we're going to heat it back up. Wow, this took longer than it normally does to make one of these hooks. We're going to heat it back up so we can finish cleaning the bend up. I can get it around the square horn of the anvil, straighten it up, take it to the flattening board, and this one's not going to get a twist because it's a post drive nail, and I don't put twists in them just because it makes it a lot harder to get the seat flat against the wall, which helps it stick in. Crap. I think it's times like these where it really shows that I'm definitely not a professional blacksmith. Because I've watched a lot of them on YouTube. I've only seen a couple actually drop the hot metal. But we're going to get that hotter so it moves easier. Then we can quench the hook, or cool the hook rather. It's not quenching. And we can bend the nail, which is always the easy part. And I do recommend trying to make these. They do have a lot of pretty good practicing techniques, like the square taper. I do a flat taper. Some people even do a round taper. And I've also seen them I just about burn my scroll. Let's chip that scale off. Close it up a little bit. And now that we have a bigger thing to hold on to, bending that nail over will be a little bit easier. We'll go ahead and get this off to the side of the heat. And since it is so narrow, it won't take long to heat up at. Except I actually need it to heat up past the hook as well, so I'm going to move it in a little bit. All in all, the drive-in post hooks, whatever you want to call them, they're super useful. I give a bunch to my grandma. She's got a lot of wood posts around her house. I want to make a bracket in that style so I can hang some tongs off the side of the anvil stand. S hooks are also super helpful. You can't see it, but I've got a S hook up here with a weighted spike. That way I can kind of adjust the shadow when I'm out here at night. It doesn't do much right now. It's daytime. The lights are on just because the computer's on. That ain't doing nothing. So let's turn that back on, and hopefully we can finally do this. This was not supposed to go this long. I have had chances to think about some future things I could do, like the S hooks. I can do them on camera. They don't take too long. Where'd my hammer go? Let's straighten this up a little bit. And then now Oh, I hit my anvil. Let's heat it up one more time because it's not quite 90 degrees. But it got too cold, relatively speaking, and we don't like that. And for anyone concerned that I'm not wearing an apron, this shirt is actually an FR for welding. So it is plenty suitable for life at the forge. All right. Let's cool it. That way I can handle it. And there we go. We've made ourselves a hook that needs actually quite a bit of processing. But the nailing looks good. Focus. Nailing looks pretty good. I'll probably polish that top piece a little bit. The scroll looks pretty good. I didn't burn it too bad. And hopefully as these series go on, I will improve. And hopefully this time next year, I'll not be under this carport. I plan on putting a building right over there in the backyard and running power to it. And I have all this stuff, hopefully a better forge that I'll weld. And I do plan on showing some of the welding part of Fire Up Forge and fabrication. But for now, I hope you guys have enjoyed. Hope you learned something. We'll see you next time. Later.